Hey everyone, welcome to ProBROknow, the podcast. Three brothers, three opinions, one topic. Today we're talking about the element of surprise. Let's dive in. So, how's everybody doing?
I'm doing well, Wade.
Chad is sporting his fancy shirt today.
Chad, what color is that?
I would call it dusty plum.
Dusty plum.
Well, my wife just bought it for me. It's the first time I've ever put it on. Clearly, I knew I was going to take a ribbing.
Well, it's like it's weird.
It's camouflage
Yeah,
almost.
it's almost like you're going back into the same color as the wall.
I am kind of blending a little
Chad,
bit
are
into
you there, Chad?
into the background.
Yeah.
Come into the light, Chad.
I'm trying to. I'm broadening my horizons and my color choices.
Well, you know what? Good for you.
Thank you.
Good for you.
Thank you.
So we're talking about the element of surprise today.
Yes.
And I think it's probably fitting that I start this one
Yes.
because when I turned 40, if you remember, I'm sure you do remember this.
It was quite a while ago.
Yes, it was quite a few years ago. You surprised me by kidnapping me basically and taking me to England. The two of you.
It basically was a kid.
Was that 40? I thought it was 50.
No, it was 40.
What?
Really?
Was it really 40?
Yeah.
That was 15 years ago?
It was 15 years ago.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you kidnapped me, took me to England for a long weekend for a ghost hunting
Yes,
long weekend.
that's right.
So
Who does that?
who wants to start us off on how this all unfolded?
Go ahead, Spence. You're a great storyteller.
Thanks, Moby.
A dusty move.
A dusty
plum.
Dusty Plum.
Dusty
I
Plum.
like that's a good stage name.
I was just
Chad.
going to say, I think that
Please
is
welcome to the
name.
stage, Dusty Plum.
The Duchess.
And don't forget about our hop of fate 275 plus tax. All right, Spence. Dusty Plum is handing it over to you.
Yeah, thank you. It was, if people know us, they know we kind of like to do things sort of, out there, and we go big or go home. And this was definitely one of those occasions. I know, Chad, you and I
Definitely.
had talked about what we were going to do for Wade's birthday.
There's a lot of planning.
And we knew he was definitely, he was, I think that's right when that, I forget what the show was called, like the Ghost Hunter.
International Ghost Hunters or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
He was always watching those shows. And I forget which one of us came up with the idea, but
It was probably me.
yeah, probably was you. We just said, hey, why don't we see if we can book like a ghost tour, and we'll pick somewhere. I don't know why we decided England. Maybe that's where one of the shows were that we saw.
No,
because
I know-
Europe has a lot of
I
ghosts.
know exactly
that's
why.
A lot of
because,
castles.
Yeah, we were just online searching for most haunted places in the world. If you remember, we said, well, let's just start searching Google for
That's right.
most haunted places in the world. And we found some places in the U.S. and stuff, and then there was these castles in England.
And we thought that would be
Yeah, I thought like these things are like from the 1800s. There's probably going to be a lot of crazy stuff that might have happened in there. So I think that's how. But back to you. Sorry.
But yeah, so yeah, I know we had reached out to one of these ghost hunting companies that we found. I don't know if they were in Oxford or where they were, somewhere in England anyway, in the UK. And we had called, and I think we booked two or three tours we were going to do.
I think it was.
It could have been 4, but we bailed on.
No, we didn't have
one.
an extra because we only had 3 days. I
I think it was three.
I think
Three
it
or
was
two.
3 tours. Yeah.
And it all came together. We started planning it out to the point where, if you recall, Wade was working at Craigwood. I think was
I was. Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
And we came up with this creative plan that Chad was going to take Wade out for his birthday.
Yeah, for a birthday lunch.
For lunch.
That's right.
And we had reached out to his boss and explained what we were doing, at least a month prior, to make sure that she, blocked off his calendar, for that Friday.
No meetings. Yeah.
Right. No, but actually, we
Little
told
did
her.
you know, Wade.
We told her to book meetings in there, so he wouldn't book any meetings.
Oh, that's right.
So there were all these fake meetings that she was
Yeah,
going to create.
she booked a fictitious meeting with the marketing team and the lawyers.
Right.
Yeah.
Lawyers.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you can't miss that one.
Right.
And then I guess it's probably better you take this part because you went to
Sure.
pick Wade up, and then you were driving on the highway, and that's where the adventure became.
Yeah,
Honestly,
reality.
it was really just the moving parts of so many people helping. So I'm thankful. And Wade's wife certainly was instrumental in getting a bag packed and stuff like that. But ultimately, to try to make it short, I said I was taking him out for lunch. We were going to see, you remember, some family friends of ours that was going to be in town.
That's what you told me.
I know.
Yeah.
And I said that they were at the Flying J out on the highway.
Yep.
And could he get away for lunch just long enough so that we could, go and say hello and spend some time with Larnie and so on. Mm-hmm. And so you agreed. And I pick you up. We start heading down the highway towards the Flying J. And I remember, I'm driving for a while and I'm probably like a half an hour past the Flying J. And Wade says to me, where's the Flying J? And I said, it's
No, I did
Back
not.
there by
yeah,
Leamington.
no,
I didn't.
Yes, you did. No, you said, where's it? And I said, back there about a half hour. And
No,
you go,
I said we just passed the Flying J. That's what I said.
No,
I'm
I said, I think you said, where's the Flying J?
okay, who's telling the story?
I am actually. But at any rate, however that came about, I said, well, it's back there. And you're like, but I thought we're going to the Flying J. And I said, yeah, we're not. And you're like, what are you doing? Because I remember you were starting to panic because you said, like, I got a half an hour lunch here.
Well, I said, well, then where are we going? And your only response was road trip.
Is that what I said?
Yeah, with this stupid little grin on your face. You're like, road trip. That's all you would say to me.
You got to keep in mind, like, we had this massive surprise that we couldn't figure out. We knew what was going to unfold, and you were just an unwilling participant.
Not very unwilling. Yes.
So ultimately, we just kept driving down the highway, and Wade was like, seriously, like, I got to be at work. I only have like an hour lunch. He's panicking, right?
Yeah, I said to you, so like, how long are we going to be? And you're like, I don't know, but longer than a lunch hour. And I'm like, well, I got to call my boss. You're like, when should I probably be back?
Yeah.
I don't know, like a week. I was like, what?
Yeah. No, I don't think I said a week at that time, but I said, I think I eventually said, okay, honestly, we're going to, we're going to go pick up Spence. Because, Spence is in Toronto. We're coming from London. So I said, we're going to go pick up Spence. You're like, what for? And I'm like, can't tell you. I don't exactly know what I said.
You just kept saying road trip and you're laughing hysterically.
Well, I mean, it was funny.
You were having a good old time.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's
at
great when-
my expense.
It's great when you know the story and the other person in the story doesn't know what's
Oh,
happening.
no, it was great for you.
It was good for me.
Yeah, it wasn't so great for me at the time.
But anyway, so we
Yeah, you guys got to my office,
yes,
and I remember.
you go ahead, Spence. We get to your office.
Yeah, you got to my office. You guys both came in, and then I think, Chad, you left. You said you had to go to the bathroom or something, but then you went out to the car,
Yeah.
switched
that's
the
right.
luggage into my car.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was switching the luggage because we were going to take your car.
Right.
Yeah.
And then we said, okay, let's just, Wade's here, let's go. And then we hop in my car and I start driving, and now Wade's still like, what? Are we going for lunch in Toronto? He still wasn't sure. And I remember you and I just kept on laughing.
He was
like,
so
what's going on? We're like,
he's
I don't know.
stressed because he's such a company man
Yeah.
too, right? And the
Oh,
idea
yeah.
that he was getting
I thought I was
himself
going to
in-
lose my job. I was already late coming
Yeah.
back for the meeting.
That might be the first time you officially sharded.
Yeah, probably. and then yeah, we drove to the airport and we park, and Wade's still wondering, like, okay, what's going on? And then it was we get out and his luggage is in the back of the car, and we all grab our bags, and he's like, okay, where are we guys, what is going on here? And then I think we started saying, like, we started with Mexico, Cuba.
That's right.
We just started naming off all these sunny destinations.
Yeah, and I remember you're like, seriously, are we going to Cuba? Oh yeah, we're definitely
Well,
going to
but
Cuba.
you guys didn't say Cuba till we got to the airport. Now, keep in mind, I was wearing a T-shirt and jeans. That's all I had on
Yes.
my body and my wallet.
yeah.
And you guys had packed a bag with Sue's help for me.
Yes.
And we get in the airport and we see these signs, these advertisements for Cuba. And I say, are we going to Cuba? And you guys are like, Cuba, 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 Cuba. You're dancing.
It's
And
true.
I'm like,
Yeah.
are you serious? We're going to Cuba? Oh my God, that's so
And we're
great.
like, yeah, we are. Yeah.
And that's so great. And then like 5 minutes later, you go, yeah, just so you know, we're not going to Cuba.
Yeah. And I can just, what I really remember is coming up to the gate. And I'll tell you what, for any of you who've tried to plan a surprise, try to get a person through a gate in an airport on a plane without them knowing where you're going.
If anyone can do it, Chad, I can do it.
It's almost impossible. And so we went up to the gate, and I remember, I don't know if it was you or me, Spence, that went up to her and said,
He has no idea where he's
He
going.
doesn't know where he's going. Do me a favor, you can't tell him where you're going. And I'm sure she probably thought, like, is this a kidnapping?
It
what
was
is-
a kidnapping.
what is happening right now? But ultimately, we said, you please do not tell him where we're going. And so she didn't. So we just handed her all the tags and everything, and she proceeded to to cash it out. But then, I think, wasn't it the over top of the wicket that we were at? Didn't it say, Spence, wasn't it like, did it say Aruba or
No, it said Cuba.
It said Cuba.
Yeah.
But then when we got to the gate, Wade saw that it said London.
oh, that's right.
And then he said, "We're going to London." And then
right.
that's
Then
when
we
we
changed our
said,
story again.
Well, then we said, yeah, we have to fly to London because Sue
Yeah.
forgot.
London, Ontario.
Yeah.
That's right.
Sue forgot something for him. And we said, so she's meeting us at the airport. We're stopping in London. And then we're continuing, you know, to the south. You thought we were still going to Cuba.
Right.
Now, keep in mind, this entire time, Wade is still thinking, like, I'm supposed to be at work right now.
yeah,
I'm getting my ass
exactly.
handed to me, you know.
Yeah. That was his biggest panic was work. And that
for sure.
that was made it so much funnier. Because we had his boss in on it. So it was perfect. And then, if you recall, we get to the terminal.
I know exactly where
into
you're
the
going with it.
lounge.
Yeah. I know
And
exactly
now
where you're
Wade
going.
is like, he's sweating. And now he's like, guys,
He's just downright pissed off.
I've got a
actually.
meeting. There's lawyers, you know, this whole, the marketing team. Like, guys, they kept on saying, this isn't cool. Right? And we're
Yes,
like,
it
well,
was.
We're like, yes, it is.
You're like, oh, well.
I kept on saying, well, then you know what? Wait, if they're not going to let you take some time off, just quit. Like, this is BS. And he was like looking at me like I've got two heads. Like, this is my career. This is my job.
Exactly.
And we're both just laughing at him.
I know.
And just the nervousness. I'll never forget the nervousness on his face. You could tell he was dreading this phone call. And then he walks away from us.
Yep.
And he sits down on this bank of chairs. And he gets his phone and he starts calling. And he's dialing. And then I think so.
He was calling his boss.
Yeah,
right,
so she picks up and he's explaining, listen, I'm really sorry.
Well, I'm like, I don't know how to even say this to
Yeah.
you. Like, I'm so sorry. I know we have this meeting, but I'm in the Toronto airport. I don't know where I'm going. I'm not sure when I'm going to be back. Like, I don't know. And she got quiet.
Yes.
And then she said, I'm not sure what to say to you about that. I guess we'll talk when you're back. And she seemed really pissed off. And I thought, I've lost my job.
Before you go back to that, Wade, I just want to point out, to backtrack, that we had called your boss and said to her, he's going to be calling you, and we need you to act extremely pissed off. Like he's on the verge of losing his job, which is so cruel looking back now.
It is. But it was yet so funny. Oh my God, it was so funny.
But anyway, sorry, go ahead, Wade.
Yeah, so but as he's talking to his boss, I come up behind his chair. So his back is to me. And, you know, as she's saying, I don't know what to say, and Wade's trying to find words. So
Get himself out of hot
right.
water. Yeah.
And then I reach over, I grab I think he had a flip phone at the time.
No, I had a BlackBerry, I think.
No, it was a flip phone.
No, I've never had a flip phone.
Okay,
It was a
well,
BlackBerry.
In my story, it's a flip phone. But so I grab the phone and he's like looking at me like, hey, come on. I mean, he's in mid conversation and I grab it and I just end.
No, sorry. Now, as I recall, you actually said, sorry, we got to go.
Yeah, but I don't.
then you hung up.
No, I just hung up and I said, wait, forget this. We just, you know what? Just quit. This is BS.
And do you remember what you said when that happened?
No,
Wade?
no, hang on a second. Whoever hung up said to you grabbed the phone and said to my boss, yeah, you're just going to have to deal with it because
that's
Wade's
right.
going.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I hung up.
And then you hung up.
And then I gave you back the phone and the look on your face was like disbelief that I just did that.
I was disbelief.
You were so mad at me. Like I've never
Yeah. You thought you were getting fired at that instant.
I was extremely
You were beside yourself.
mad. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was really one of the highlights.
Yeah. But then you did call her back though, and she said, didn't she say something like she knew or no? She was still
No.
Oh, that was it.
No, she didn't
Then
let
we
on.
left the lounge. I think we did then. Yeah.
I don't know. I might have called. I can't remember if I called her back, but either way, she maintained that.
Yeah.
That
No, I recall you did call her back because you were like, I'm so sorry, my brother hung up. I don't know why you did
That's
that.
right,
Like,
too.
I
Yeah.
apologize.
Yeah. You were still trying to
maybe
kiss
that's when
ass.
she said, you know what? We'll talk when you get back.
Yeah.
That's all I
She
have to
did.
say to you. And I was
She
like,
did. And
oh
you-
my God, I've lost my job. I'm done. Yeah.
Absolutely. That's so cruel, honestly,
know.
that we did that. But it was bloody funny.
Yeah.
So then we get on the airplane.
Yes. Now keep in mind, everybody, that Wade still doesn't know where
Has
we're going.
no idea where
he
we're
thinks
going.
we're going at this point to London, right?
Yeah, on a big, 767
Massive
aircraft. That's only gonna-
International flight
20
airplane.
minute flight, but we're on the, this massive 747. Like, I don't think so, Wade, but he fell for it.
So I can remember so clearly, you're getting ready to take off and all of that kind of stuff.
Well,
oh, sorry.
Go ahead and do you can do the pilot's announcement because this is exactly what happened.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, so go ahead and do the pilot's announcement.
Oh, sorry. Did you want me to let you do that?
No, I'm saying, why don't you go
Okay.
ahead and do the pilot's
you.
announcement?
So, anyways, the pilot comes out and he says, okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to flight such and such today en route for Heathrow.
No,
What? What announcement are you talking
you
about?
guys
But
had-
that one, but say it. Sorry, I missed my cue. Go.
Okay. No.
No, don't do what you just said. Repeat that. I apologize. I'm messing up your podcast.
no
Go.
idea what-
I know, but just go do that.
Okay. So we're on the plane. Wade still doesn't know where he's going. And the pilot comes on and says, welcome everybody. It's whatever degrees. We're going to be heading our way to. Yeah.
And that was it. He said Heathrow, and then at that exact moment,
Right. I forgot.
the ding dong sound of like put your seatbelt on or something came on,
I totally forgot.
and you couldn't even hear him say Heathrow. Wade was sitting there like he was waiting
Yeah.
to
That's
try
right.
to hear where
That's
it
right.
was.
Sorry, you're
He
exactly
finally
right.
thought, I'm going to find out where we're going, and then
Yeah.
that happened, and we were both just dying laughing.
I totally forgot about that. You're right. So it did.
exactly
and Wade is saying to
right.
me, he goes, what do you say? And I said, he said Heathrow. And he goes, where's Heathrow?
That's
and I
right.
said, you don't know where Heathrow is? And he goes, no. And I said, oh, well.
And then we kept on laughing even
Okay,
harder.
so in my defense, I know where
You're a big
Heathrow is.
you're a big traveler.
In
You
my-
were so caught up in the
I know
moment.
where Heathrow is, but in my defense, I was so confused
Sure.
and pissed off.
There's a Heathrow in Cuba.
and every every time I guessed where I was going, you guys
Right.
would say, "Nope." I'm like, but you just said we were. Well, we're not. I was so spun around at that point in time.
Yes,
So
I know.
in my defense,
Sure. Anyways, go ahead, Spence.
And then we did up a letter
Yes.
on the letterhead from the ghost company.
Correct.
And we crafted this whole story about how he was going to spend the night in Oxford Castle in like some crypt.
no, in a
Yeah,
pri-
like-
no, it was a
no,
prison.
It was, or the prison. So
it was
it
a prison.
It was a
Yeah.
prison
Oxford.
from the 1800s,
Yeah.
and he was going to have to like
In
overnight
a
by
cell,
himself
right.
in a cell.
yeah.
And they'd come back, they'd lock him in, and then they would come back in the morning. And if he happened to survive this this cell journey,
Yeah, and I
And
remember
it was the ghost of who, Chad? You created a
Uh,
fictitious
it was
ghost.
something like
Annie?
the ghost of Annie or something.
Annie,
yeah,
yeah.
something like that. And
Yeah.
I laughed to myself because I remember crafting this letter, and I'd written stuff like, as per your request, we have picked the scariest of our tours. This one, people have been known to have seen apparitions in the middle of the night, and some people want to, are knocking at the door to get out.
and no
before
one's ever
morning.
made it through till the morning,
Exactly.
without
Nobody's ever
begging
made
to
it
be
the
let
morning.
out. Yeah.
So we had really just crafted this whole intense letter that was going to scare the crap out of you, literally, as you were reading it. And I remember you going, "No, I'm not doing that."
Oh, I did. I read it. And I'm like, no, there's no frickin' way I'm doing this tour. I'm not doing
I'm
it.
like, "Oh, you're doing it. We already paid for it. You're doing it."
Yeah.
So then I think at that point, then I think you guys, you'd obviously told me where we're going. So I
Yes.
knew where I was going.
Yeah.
Heathrow.
Heathrow, wherever that was at the time. So when was our, so then we stayed the night at
Yeah, we've had some friends. We
some
stayed.
friends who let us stay at his parents' house or something in the UK.
Yes.
So the first tour was on the first morning. Is that right?
No, it was the
That
first
night.
Yeah, it was the first night we had
Oh,
got
that's
there.
right.
It was a
we took a
nighttime
red
tour.
eye, right? We slept for
That's
like
right.
3 hours, and then we had to go to. We're trying to find our way around to where the first one was, and it was at Oxford Castle,
Yeah.
as I recall, and we had to go there like 9:00 at night or something like that. And I remember people saying, where are you guys from? And they're like, oh, we just flew from London, Ontario to come for a ghost hunt for the weekend.
Yeah.
I know they all thought we were nuts.
Well, we are nuts.
Yeah, totally nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah. A long weekend, take a 6-hour flight for a long weekend.
It was a little
So
crazy.
the first tour was not the one that you guys bailed on, right? That was,
No, that was the last one. I think that was the last one.
Yeah.
in Buckingham, right? Buckingham Jail. That's the one you guys bailed on.
That's correct.
Yes. So let's talk about that.
Yeah, we'll skip by everything that happened. It was actually a very cool ghost hunt. There was lots of cool stuff that happened, but we won't get into
Yeah,
that.
there was some cool, unexplainable stuff
Yes,
that happened.
I agree.
But Buckingham Jail, we all get there, and of course, for those
Bernard.
Bernard, for those that have been ever watching those ghost hunting shows, they give you the EMF detectors and all the ghost hunting equipment.
That's right.
So we arrive at Buckingham Jail, and the tour guides give us all of our gear to go ghost hunting.
Yeah.
And we're there for like 20 minutes, and you guys are just now saying, this is kind of lame. We don't want to stay here. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like we're here. Where are we going to go? We came from London, Ontario. And
I think we were just tired. Like we had
Oh, we
only
were
had a couple
tired.
hours. Then we stayed up all day, and then we had to be up all night for the ghost hunt the night before.
I know, we were tired.
We slept for just a couple hours the next morning, and then we had to do it all over again. And we were I don't know why we were looking at bailing. Honestly,
I think it was just whoever the company was. It didn't feel as good as the first one, or maybe the first one we kind of got all that out of our system, and now it felt like,
no, if you ask me, it's just who you guys are. It's just called, let's put Wade in a really awkward position. Right?
Okay, well, let's talk about that. Wade.
Yeah, well, yeah. So we all have our gear in our hands, and then you guys start talking about let's just bail, and I'm like, we can't bail. We're already here. Like that's going to look really bad because you know who I am. I'm like Mr. Rule
Gotta follow
follower.
the law.
Yeah, follow the rules.
Yeah, follow the rules.
Yeah.
And then you guys basically hand me all your ghost hunting equipment, stack it up on my arms.
Hang on to this for a second. I just gotta tie my shoe.
Hang on to
I think
this
that's
way.
right.
I'm standing there with all your stuff in my hands, and you guys go, "See ya," and
Yeah.
you walk out.
Yeah,
and
I
leave me
seem to
there.
recall actually handing you the stuff, and Spence and I sort of scheming on the side, saying,
You're
let's,
laughing.
Like, let's hand him. Give me your flashlight. Give him this. Give him that, and we're just gonna bail it. He'll be like, "What's going on?"
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys walk out, and I'm
You're like,
standing there.
guys, where you going? And we're like,
Yeah.
bye.
Yeah.
See you later.
And the ghost hunting tour guy's looking at me like, "What just happened here?" And I'm like, So then I go into like, I got to make up a story mode.
That's right.
So I'm like, "Oh yeah, my older brother, he just for some reason he just wasn't feeling well. So they've left. He's just getting some air outside." And he got all serious on me, and he's like, did it just start when he got in the room? Because he could have a
He's
spirit
thinking I
attached
was
to
just
him.
possessed there.
He's
for
got
him.
a spirit attached to him, and that's not okay. Like we got to go check on him. And I'm like, no, I'm sure he's fine. No, he's just not feeling well. We're just sleep deprived, and
that's
we've
so
been
good.
traveling. And if you remember,
Yeah.
he followed me outside.
I do remember.
Yeah,
to
well,
check on you guys.
Yeah.
Chad and I were in the car laughing our heads off. We just bailed on you, and we were probably just tired and giddy. But
Yeah,
we were like, we had tears streaming down our face, thinking of what you'd be doing in there, trying to explain our absence. And then we see, the one head dude coming out with you, walking towards us, and then we started panicking. We even started laughing more because I'm like, we got to come up with a story now.
I was thinking, like, I don't know what we're going to say to this guy. Like, do we
God.
roll down the window?
The best part was though, is I see you guys like crying hysterically in the car, and then as Chad goes into
Acting mode.
his acting
And
mode,
scene.
and starts seeing, and Chad opens the door like a decrepit old man, really slowly, hunched over, and walks out really slowly. Hey, he's like, "Are you feeling okay?" No, I just don't feel well. He put on this
Your
big.
best acting.
Oh my god.
Honestly, that was hard because I knew that I had to have something to say, and I had nothing to say. And
You had to kind of like regain your composure like right at that split second.
Yeah,
and
and
meanwhile, I'm in there with my head buried down in my lap, trying not to like show my face because I was dying.
like you're
could
laughing
not
so
stop.
hard that your
Yeah.
face is beet red, and he can see that. But I think he was interpreting it like
He
it
was
it was part of the demon that,
Yeah.
I was coming out of me or whatever. So I had to just say something like, I don't know, I just had this weird feeling that came over me, and then he starts asking me all these questions, and I can hear you, Spence, on the other side of me, like giggling, trying to hold it in, and I'm trying to keep it together,
Yeah, the
so-
more you try not to laugh, the more I was laughing. So I was just, you guys know me. I've got a really bad problem with laughing
Yes.
when I'm not supposed to. And yeah, I was dying. I was actually dying in that moment.
Yeah, so I think we had to basically tell the guy, like, "We're so sorry, but we have to just leave." And he said, "But you came from Canada for this ghost tour." Like, "Yeah, but sorry, we're gonna leave," and we left.
Yep.
Yep.
We didn't do the tour.
And then
Oh, we left to go to Amsterdam. Apparently.
Well, yeah, let's talk about that for a second.
Yeah, that was
Spencer.
really brilliant, Spence.
We
Really
booked-
good idea there.
We booked the hotel room in Buckingham to go to this ghost tour.
Yeah.
we don't even stay in the hotel room. We just
That's
put our
right.
bags
We
in
checked
there,
in and then checked out.
And then you're like, after we bail on the tour, you said, "Hey, let's go to Amsterdam." We're like, "But we have a hotel room." Yeah, screw it. Let's go to Amsterdam. So
Yeah,
let's
seemed
talk
like a
about-
good thing to do.
And,
Yeah,
and
so
we
let's talk
literally
about
had,
that.
Yeah, we had literally paid for the hotel room,
Yep.
set our bags on the bed, and left for the ghost hunt.
Yeah.
And then came back
An hour later.
an hour or two later after bailing on this thing and saying, "Oh, sorry, we got to go. Can we have our money back?" Or I forget.
No,
we were
we didn't get the money back.
No, we just left.
We
It
just
was-
left.
That
We
money
just-
was gone.
We just checked out
Yep.
So we literally checked in.
because
And checked
Spencer
back
here,
out.
in all of his wisdom, said,
Wouldn't it be fun if we
"Wouldn't
went
it be
to
fun?"
Amsterdam?
And he even, if you remember, he was on his phone going, "No, they have like a flight at midnight from Heathrow to Amsterdam."
Yeah, I do remember that.
So we got in the car and drove back to Heathrow at whatever time of night was
actually,
it?
I don't think it was Heathrow. I think it was another airport.
No, it was
of some-
Heathrow.
No,
No, it was Heathrow.
It was
Was
Heathrow.
it?
Yeah.
What time of night was it
Oh, it was late. It was
late.
at least 11.
when we left?
Well,
We arrived there at like 11. We arrived around 11:30 in Heathrow, I think, or 11. It was late. But so we get to Heathrow, if you
And there's no
recall,
more flights.
and there's no more flights leaving
yeah.
that day.
Thanks for that, Spence.
Yeah. Well, hey, it was an adventure, right?
Like the airport's almost empty. And we're going, so now we have no hotel room to stay in,
Yeah.
no flight out. And
Yeah.
now, and what are we going to do?
So what a good idea. You decide to go to England for a weekend, which is already a bad idea. You stay up all night to do ghost hunts. You get no sleep. And then you say, let's go on a flight and go to Amsterdam. That's really brilliant, Spence.
So then, because of who we are, we switched gears again and said, well, we have no place to go, so let's drive into central London and party.
Yes.
So most people will tell you, don't drive a car in central London, right? Especially when you don't know how to drive a car. Let's talk about that, Chad, for a second.
Yeah.
With the left-handed steering in the wrong side of the road.
I was not conditioned to drive
No.
ring roads and
We had,
and
I
on
don't
the
know,
wrong side of the road.
I don't know how many near death collisions we had by you turning into the oncoming traffic lanes. But,
Yeah, that did happen. I'm not going to lie.
and somehow it was
I
our
not
fault
doing well.
because
That's right.
we weren't giving you the proper navigations. But it's like, well, I don't think we told you to turn into oncoming traffic. But
You guys are just scrapping in the front seat. I'm in the
Yeah.
back seat going, happy birthday to me. You guys are scrapping. So we get in the car, we drive to central London, or we try to drive to central London. And it's, for
We got
those
so
that have,
lost.
For those that have ever driven there,
my
it's a little
gosh.
bit crazy.
It's nutty.
Even the police had no idea how to give us directions when we were there.
It's true. We must have asked people for directions a half a dozen times, and every single person gave us the wrong directions.
Oh, we were so
Every
bloody
single
lost. And you see a hotel, and then it's over there, and you're like, how do I get there? And there's one ways, and you
it was
can't
all run one.
you
Yeah.
can't get there. And then if you recall, we went to a couple hotels and tried to get a room, and they looked at us.
They turned
it was
us
like
away.
3 in the morning.
Well, that's
You're
the
going,
problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
3 dudes at 3 in the morning.
Three
No,
Canadians
you're not
at
staying
3 or
here.
4 in the morning. Yeah, they weren't having it.
So we drove around central London till about 4 o'clock in the morning, not finding any place to stop or get a room or
Exhausted,
party.
angry,
Exhausted,
frustrated.
angry.
Definitely angry.
Yeah.
And then got spit out again at whatever, 4 or 5 in the morning, and went and drove back towards Heathrow. Still haven't slept.
No, we
We
went,
found that little hotel right by the airport.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
by-
and we
by
crashed for
Heathrow.
like 2
Yeah.
hours.
Yeah.
That's right.
They let us check in at like 6 in the morning. Remember that?
That's right. And then we had a little nap and left again at like 1 or 2 o'clock.
And then we went to Rochester.
That's right.
Yeah.
What a great surprise, eh? Wait, happy birthday!
Yeah, I was just going to say, wow.
That was a great birthday present. I don't know what you're talking about.
I mean,
We made memories. I can tell you that. We made a lot of memories that weekend.
Yeah. Do you remember everything from Rochester there and doing all the video shoots and
Oh,
stuff
yeah.
in there?
oh, yeah. Can we talk about that? I just remember we thought it was I remember stopping at the road and asking someone where a hotel was, and he suggested some hotel. And then he said the price. We're like, oh, that's too much. We don't want anything that fancy. He said, oh, then there's another place here to go. And we went there, and it ended up being like a hostel, right?
Yeah, it's like a men's mission.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't know that until the next morning. But I think we knew it once we kind of laid down in
knew
the
when
beds.
we got in the room, and it
Yeah.
was
Like
one
no
of those,
sheets.
those plastic mattresses that with one sheet and no blankets or anything.
Yeah, and we all were like, I'm going to wear my clothes to bed. I'm not I'm not going to be on this bed without clothes on.
Yeah,
It was pretty sketch.
It was.
You didn't know your birthday was going to be so luxury, did you?
It was luxury. But as you said, Spence,
You're never going to forget that memory.
No, you can't. As much as I was devastated at the fact that I was going to lose my job, and I thought like I'm done for, and I was irritated because I didn't know what was going on, and I have obviously control issues. It was an amazing experience, and you never recreate it, and it just made awesome memories.
That is the epitome of the element of surprise.
I think that's really what it's all about, right? Mm-hmm. If
I
you
don't
can
think we
get
could do that. We couldn't do that twice. Like,
Oh, there's no
But
way.
we have.
well, yeah, we can't talk about that.
No,
That's
that's
another
another
episode.
episode. But when you think about it, from the time we were probably, I don't know, 18 years of age, maybe a bit less, we've done these cool little ways of celebrating different occasions, which we'll get into at some point. But that definitely was up there as far as.
That was an awesome time, and just I mean, I laughed more than I've laughed in a very long time, but I was also angrier than I've been in a really long time, and mostly because again, I was driving, I was not doing a good job on the
You
roundabouts.
hit a few curbs, I think. Didn't you mess up the tire too? I think you ran into a curb.
I
and
actually
you
did.
screwed
Yeah.
up the rim.
I did. I remember screwing out the rim, and I thought, thank God I got the insurance that covered all of that kind of stuff.
I just remember going through a roundabout, and Chad stopped to a dead stop in the roundabout. We're like, "What are you doing? You can't stop in a roundabout."
Everyone's
"What?
honking.
You guys are yelling at me. You're all upset.
Well, I had never been in a roundabout before.
Oh, we know.
And keep in mind, I'm trying to go, and you guys are telling me which way to go, and you're saying, left or turn here, and you're confused because you're in this roundabout. You're driving on the wrong side of the road to begin with.
And it was a manual shifting car, so you're shifting with your wrong hand.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Shifting with the wrong hand. So it was definitely trying, and it got the best of me, and you know that because,
You threw the
I don't
keys
think
at me.
I remember we
You
got
threw the car keys at
we
me.
got to
Quaint little village somewhere.
yes, a little village. I don't know where. We were finally stopping, and I was just so angry because you guys were just riding me the whole time, and I just wasn't having it. And I got out, and I remember throwing the keys at you, and
Said
I
a
won't
few
repeat what I
expletives.
said. I said a few expletives, and threw the keys at you, and
You want to drive? You
Brotherly
drive.
love, yeah, right there.
Yeah,
in the
well-
middle of England.
This nice little quaint village. Everyone just shopping, going out their business.
I'm surprised we
and
didn't just
then
start
they hear-
fighting like we did in the old days.
Yeah.
In the car, and we all, us fighting in cars. I don't know. It's our thing, I guess.
we might have, but we didn't know where the local hospital was.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
I'm pretty sure we at some point texted our wives to say that we were driving into central London, and they all were like, "Oh my God, this is not going to end well." And they were kind of right.
Yeah, they were. But think of the memories, right?
It was awesome
Amazing.
memory. It was an awesome memory, and that is really. That's one of the surprises I'm most proud of that we've done, and we've done a bunch. But that's one of the ones that just stands out to me. And the ghost hunting was super cool, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah. And we did it because we've all had, I mean, that's another podcast, but we've all
Yeah.
had different experiences in our lives that are kind of unexplainable, sometimes kind of supernatural. So
Yeah.
we're all a bit of we all believe a little bit of that stuff. And so it was kind of cool to go and experience it there.
I definitely want to talk about that sometime, actually, to talk about some of our experiences. I know you have too. I remember you did on Hill Street, right?
Actually, Chad, the ghost that's just to your right there on over your right shoulder is saying, "Don't talk about it right now."
The ghost of the plum shirt.
Right. But if the one takeaway from this podcast, I think, should be that we're here for a short time, not a long time.
Yes.
And so make the most of it, have experiences, and just enjoy what life has to
do
offer.
do something unexpected. Just
You never
step
know.
outside your comfort zone.
You never know what's going to happen.
You never know.
And the
what's gonna
memories
happen.
you're going to make.
Absolutely.
And what a better birthday present than that.
Then losing your job and getting fired. Yeah, it was good. Yeah.
So until next time.
Yeah. Well,
We'll talk about another one another
Yeah.
time.
there you go.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. That was awesome.
Yes.
All right, guys. Thanks for coming.
Have a great week. We'll
too.
see you next time.
See ya.
Ciao.